You're here at the moment in residence at Bundanon and focused on putting together a production based around several generations of women at Marugal House in Nowra. Tell us a little bit what you're looking for there and why it's really sparked your interest.
One of the things I've been doing with my work is a stream of work that's done in museums. So I've done a couple of plays in the Australian National Maritime Museum and a play in the Australian War Memorial and a play in at the Sydney Observatory. And it's part of, again, like verbatim's a kind of theatre. At the moment there's a lot of museum theatre which is trying to enliven collections and cultural institutions in a way that gives audiences access to the reality of the lives of perhaps the people. So what an actor can do by being the character is give you a glimpse into what those people were perhaps feeling. Again, the same principle as what I did with the flood person, the football fan, the Parramatta girl. So what I'm hoping to do, I mean, it's 3 generations of the same family. It will be stories of their lives because Marugal is very much about, you know, looking at the layers of the women's lives. I want to go to the source material and museums often have that. Marugal certainly has diaries, I know, of the women. I think you could probably tell a lot from a person about them from what they have in their house and what they have in their kitchen. And so what I'll be doing is getting as close to the primary material as I can. It's extraordinary, you know, you open the drawers and there's, well, I don't know if there's actually undies, but there are, you know. It's like everything is there. So I love the minutiae of that. What I really want to do is get underneath what was going on with those women's lives. And one of the things that's really struck me is that they actually didn't have a lot of money, but they kind of pretended, if you like, that they did. And I really love, again, that idea of what they say, but what they don't say, and how you live a life of, you know, making a meaningful life out of the difficult things that life hands you. Because plays always have to have something to say to us today. They can't just be little reenactments. I'm not interested in that. So I'm always looking for, without going into technical stuff about the theatre, I'm always looking for the story that's relevant today. So what I'll be looking for with Marugal is how does the story of these women relate to women in the Shoalhaven now? I think what will be interesting for them is the perceptions that I bring to that from my own life as an artist. You know, what am I saying about their loneliness? What am I saying about their isolation? That goes for all of us when we're lonely or when we're isolated. Do you know what I'm getting at? It's like there are constants with that, whether you're, you know, now or 100 years ago. And so I suppose it will be about extrapolating.
Tell us a little more about Parramatta Girls, because you described that a little while ago as massaged verbatim.
Yes.
And you took a group of fascinating women and essentially joined them, or invited the audience to join them on a journey into their past.
That's right.
And it was enormously successful and very positively received. Tell us a little about what you did with that.
Well, women were sent there from the early 1900s, 1908 I think, to 1974. So it only closed in 1974. And they were what were called uncontrollable girls. So some of them would be taken away from their homes because they had alcoholic parents. Some of them were truant from school. There were all sorts of things. What I didn't realise when I started making the play was that all the generations of women above me had been threatened with the Parramatta Girls' Home and knew about it in a way that I didn't know about it. So there's still a lot of things, that's fascinating, there's still a lot of things in Australian society that just haven't come out. And so many people wanted to talk about it, not least of which was the Parramatta Girls, who for 30 years honestly hadn't spoken about what they'd said. So what I did was start talking to these women, and I talked to about 30 because they weren't public figures like George Piggins or, you know, Andrew Denton or that, where I did give them the exact words in Run Rabbit Run. In Parramatta Girls, I could start to extrapolate, like I said, from what they said. And the thing I found that was surprising, if I can put it this way, was how funny they were. So if the surprising thing about football fans in Run Rabbit Run was that they were actually lucid. The amazing, impossible truth about the Parramatta Girls was that they were riotously funny. And it was because they had been appallingly damaged. And it was that incredible paradox where that's what happens, that you just learn to deal with that deep, deep pain with humour. And I suppose what I was trying to do was not just to tell the story of Parramatta Girls, but to tell the story of all of us, which is that we all have really tough moments in our lives, not perhaps as bad as the Parramatta Girls, but how do we deal with them? And again, I return to my theme, which is we deal with them by having a community of love around us and laughter that can buoy us up in some way.
Ladies and gentlemen, please thank Alana Valentine.